Welcome to the kingdom of Ondarion, where three great nations are connected by the Emerald Sea. Nestled within the province of Bellecourt, where gossip travels faster than the speed of light, you'll find Bellecourt Palace, a beautiful estate, owned by none other than the very royal and very rich Capp dynasty. Within these walls thrives a family of exceptionally royal proportions, where power is not merely inherited, it is ruthlessly contested and exploited. Lord Tybalt Capp has very clear expectations for his three children: elegance, discipline, and the will to not bring shame upon the family. Celeste follows the rules, Beatrice is perfect, and Virgilio? Well, you'll see. This is the Capp dynasty. We have Tybalt, Beatrice, Celeste, and Virgilio. Our story begins in the world of Ondarion, and here we have Celeste, Virgilio's youngest sibling. They don't always get along, but they get along well enough. Do you know what I mean? And here we have Lord Tybalt, head of the dynasty, and father to Beatrice, Celeste, and Virgilio. Speaking of, here's Celeste and Virgilio now on their way out to a bar at 3 a.m, and the bars in Ondarion are crap. There's no one here, but Virgilio gets around in anyway. He orders 2 drinks, the most expensive ones, because there's nothing he loves more than to spend his dad's money. So he struts up to the bar, with every intention of getting completely off his face, and it doesn't take him too long to realise that the woman behind the bar has no idea what she's doing. Absolutely not a clue. Celeste is the designated wingman for tonight, and poor Celeste trusts their older brother. In fact, Virgilio can do no wrong in Celeste's eyes. They've always looked up to him, thinks the sun shines out of his arse. And yes, Virgilio has noticed this, and that's kind of the sad thing about this situation. Virgilio uses this information to his advantage, and that's why Celeste makes the perfect wingman. They'll do anything for their brother. And while Celeste pops to the loo, Virgilio wastes no time with chatting up the barmaid, because the truth is, he's not a picky guy. He doesn't really care who he ends up with, and he has no interest in finding a wife. This is Angela, by the way. And apparently Celeste is easily swayed, because we catch them out back, dancing and chatting with some random homeless guy. And of course he's interested, because Celeste reeks of money. So Celeste pulls out their best move, and this guy just can't get enough. And before you know it, they've hit it off. And Virgilio comes out wondering what the hell is going on, but he's too smashed to realise, and just decides to join in. Celeste is a lightweight and starts really throwing it down, and they're grinding up against the bush, really laying it on thick for this homeless guy. Virgilio has no idea what's going on, but he's into it. And then some random woman starts throwing it down on the other side of the bush, like she's really getting into it, right? And they're just like, what the fuck? And then she walks away like nothing happened, then disappears into thin air. Virgilio doesn't notice. He's out of his mind, past the point of intoxicated, and apparently having a bad time. So they finally leave the bar, only to head out to another one, and Virgilio wastes no time on getting in more drinks. It's like 9:30 in the morning. Virgilio had randomly decided to pick a fight with the barman when Celeste wasn't looking, and when Celeste suggested they go home, Virgilio thought it would be a good idea to pay his mate Crispin a visit. He wanted something slightly harder than alcohol, but he couldn't remember what apartment Crispin lived in, and when no one answered the door after he knocked, he thought it'd be a good idea to break in. But when he finally got inside, he kind of realised Crispin doesn't have kids. He was in the wrong apartment. So when he finally decided to return home with Celeste, Virgilio immediately gave Crispin a call. He manages to convince him to come over so he can pick up some goods. Unfortunately, Tybalt answers the door, and Virgilio's kind of like, don't worry about it. So Virgilio puts in a fat order of Crispin's best gear, and he's not looking at the price. I mean, they are made of money after all, and it's not his money, so who cares? Virgilio was trying to shortchange Crispin. Crispin wasn't having any of it, and he started to get real mad at Virgilio. So Virgilio bitch slaps him, and Crispin starts to freak the fuck out, and he quickly realizes that Virgilio is completely mental. So having finally acquired the goods, Virgilio calls up Angela. Do you remember that barmaid from that one bar? And she's like, who the fuck are you? But he convinces her to come over anyway. So he's feeling pretty proud of himself and decides to make a snack. And then Angela shows up and she's like, yeah, hey, I have to be at work pretty soon, so can we make this quick? And Virgilio does get a little bit pissed off, like who does she think she is? But he needs her to stick around. Celeste isn't the best wingman, so he decides to bribe her with 10,000 simoleons. And Angela's like, sure, that don't impress me much though. But hey, 10k is 10k, what are you gonna do? So with Angela the barmaid, now his designated wingman, he decides that they hit the karaoke bar. So they travel to San Myshuno, and he rocks up and decides actually a karaoke bar won't do. So instead he buys a DJ booth, gets rid of the karaoke machine, and then hires a DJ headliner. And with the rest of the night set up for success, the party is finally pumping and Angela's having a great time. And in true scummy Virgilio fashion, he decides to give Angela yet another 10k, you know, just to keep her sweet for the rest of the night. So that's like 20k now. Girl can almost quit her job at this point. Well, maybe not quite yet, but it's getting there. So after a little bribery, it's time to hit up the bar for a round of drinks. Virgilio treats Angela to a bevy, and he takes some time to get to know Angela a little at the bar. It doesn't take too long for him to realise that actually this girl's kinda cool. She doesn't mind his odd jokes, backhanded compliments, his obvious obsession with himself, his complete disregard for human life. She actually finds him kind of funny and strangely refreshing. So he's like, hey, come with me, I have something to give you. So he pulls out a pink pill. Angela takes it, no hesitation. Virgilio's impressed. He's like, yeah, okay, sweet, now it's time to get the party started. And now that Angela's on board the party train, Virgilio slips into the bathroom to do a line of something interesting. Decides it's time to order yet another round of drinks at the bar. Virgilio recognizes another sim from Ondarion and they get to chatting at the bar. He offers the guy some of his goods, he says no, so then Virgilio starts doing lines off the bar. In public, in front of everybody, and then he starts sharing it with a random sim that he doesn't know. At this point, it seems like Virgilio is just desperate to make friends anywhere that he can. And then he starts flirting with Luca, who's like, I'm not into this. Sorry. Obviously, this rejection just does not go down well. And this is happening all while Angela's in the bathroom. And in true Virgilio fashion, things start to get violent. He punches Luca in the stomach. And when that doesn't have the desired effect, he starts to choke him with his bare hands. And it seems like no one else in the bar has noticed, because no one comes along to break it up. And I mean, this goes on for a good few seconds. I don't even know where Angela is at this point. And before you know it, Luca falls to the ground defeated. Virgilio's first victim. I think we're at death counter 1 here. And then the police show up, but they can't seem to figure out what's going on. So Virgilio legs it out the bar as quickly as he can, while the police officer starts waving his gun around at the bar. Meanwhile, Virgilio's ditched Angela and instead calls up Celeste. And Virgilio's like, oh hey, yeah, so I had to leave the other karaoke bar. Fancy meeting me at this other place instead? Duh, of course Celeste is gonna meet up with you. So Virgilio gets in yet another round of drinks. And then Thorne Bailey shows up out of nowhere, a popular celebrity from Del Sol Valley. Virgilio doesn't want anyone else stealing the limelight, so in attempt to draw attention back to himself, he decides to start chatting up Cannonball, and to his surprise this actually works. So Virgilio takes a quick picture and promptly proceeds to order a firearm from his phone. And as he carefully plots his next takedown, Virgilio attempts to befriend renowned celebrity Thorne Bailey. And he asks for a hug, you know, just trying to get into his good books. And Mr. Bailey takes the bait. He even asks for a picture, and Bailey obliges. Meanwhile, Virgilio is planning to take out the paparazzi. Even if he was pointing his weapon in the wrong direction, it still hit him. And after causing quite a scene, it's time to leave. And as he makes his way to the nearest food stall, Virgilio realizes he's being followed by the cops. So without any further hesitation, Virgilio targets the police officer, goes up behind him and snaps his neck. You know, problem solved. And with that out the way, He gets back to acquiring his snack. Now it's pretty obvious that we're dealing with an absolute psycho here, guys. No remorse, just him and his street food, covered in blood, leaving the general public in complete disarray. Back at the karaoke bar, we slip the urn into our inventory to proudly put on display later. Meanwhile, we've got a cameraman from the local news looking for the action while Celeste is singing tunes in the karaoke booth. Meanwhile, Virgilio receives a text message from Angela asking if he wants to come over to her house. Of course, he says yes, as he sees an opportunity for a house party, and he decides to bring along Celeste and Cannonball. So he arrives at Angela's, who lives with her sister. Virgilio's completely pumped. He can't wait to get the party started. Angela doesn't seem to mind though, and she invites Virgilio and the rest inside. He takes a shower to wash off all the blood, and Angela's twin sister is completely freaking out, like, why did you bring this madman into our house? But she eventually calms down and they all watch a movie together on the sofa. And no wonder why Celeste is completely fine with all of this. I mean, look at those pupils. They were clearly in Virgilio's stash. So Virgilio's upstairs, fresh and clean. So he comes downstairs to say hi to Angela. He pulls her in for an embrace. And this is where Virgilio realises that Angela's actually quite into him, which wasn't part of his plan, but this does work out. So finally, Virgilio and Celeste return home to Bellecourt Palace. But as soon as Virgilio returns home, he's already calling for the rest of the gang to come over. You know, Cannonball, Angela, yeah, the gang. And much to Virgilio's surprise, his family actually welcome the party. Angela finally decides to show up, and Virgilio hands her a treat, which she gladly accepts. Meanwhile, Tybalt has retired to his bedchamber, which gives Virgilio a crazy idea. And in his completely fucked up state, Virgilio wakes Tybalt up. He gets up like, what the hell is going on here? Virgilio doesn't hesitate to pop another pill. Tybalt's like, well, I might as well join the rest of the party. Virgilio sees his opportunity and follows him out of the room. He stops his father at the top of the stairs and whips out a 12 gauge. Oh my god, he blasts him through the door. Tybalt hits the ground, dead. Virgilio made his own dreams come true. Tybalt has been slain. He lays on the ground with a hole in his face, blood pooling around his shattered skull. Virgilio steps out to review his masterpiece and bursts into fits of giggles. He then pulls out his primary firearm. The remainder of the household gathers round to see what's going on. They're all rather suspicious, even though it's very clear who the culprit is. And then Tybalt's body disappears in a grey cloud of smoke, and we receive a message from the Grim Reaper asking if we'd like to play Tybalt as a ghost. And poor Tybalt appears in his new ghostly form, dripping with blood. And he's all like, what the hell is going on? So as the butler promptly cleans up the evidence, Virgilio has forced Celeste to take the throne, as he has no interest in becoming the head of the dynasty. And obviously Celeste is completely distraught because their father's just been slain in cold blood. This wasn't how things were supposed to be. But Celeste will do anything, Virgilio says, as they will do anything to win the attention and affections of their brother. So Virgilio persuades Celeste to immediately hold court and immediately select new noble decrees. Celeste does look good on the throne, and even ghostly Tybalt has joined the audience. Meanwhile, upstairs, Angela and Cannonball are having the time of their lives. As the royal guests socialise downstairs, we proudly display the recently collected urns above the fireplace. So as the rest of the Capp children retire to their bedchambers, Tybalt quickly adapts to his new life as a ghost. Well, there you have it, folks. A little introduction into Virgilio's origin story. The way this storyline played out was quite a surprise to even myself. Hopefully, this was enjoyable for those who don't particularly enjoy watching live streams or VODs. So if you liked it, then give this video a like, leave a comment. Also, let me know if I should continue recapping this storyline and post part 2. Thanks for watching and goodbye.